Welcome back, everyone. Today's recap is about a military commander who suddenly finds herself in charge of a lone nuclear missile defense base in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, after being unfairly removed from her dream job at the Pentagon. But a terrifying threat is closing in. So, what is this danger? Let's find out. The movie starts with a gang taking over a U.S. military station located in Russia. They kill all the soldiers there in order to seize control of the nuclear missiles at the base, planning to use them to completely destroy the United States. 3 days after the takeover, Captain Colin arrives at the station. She's been assigned to be in charge of the defense missiles at the base, in case the gang decides to launch a nuclear strike on America. She's greeted by a female soldier from the south, and through their conversation, we learn that Colin used to work at this station 2 years ago before being transferred to a military camp. But the higher-ups brought her back because she's an expert in missile systems, basically, the best person for the job. She doesn't seem happy about being back and tells them she plans to file a transfer request in 2 months to return to the camp. Later, she goes to her new room, and the soldier who welcomed her says she's proud of Colin for standing up for herself. Turns out, 3 years ago, a high-ranking officer tried to harass her, but she stood her ground and fought back, which left her with serious emotional trauma. Colin is clearly upset about being back, but she calms down when she opens a letter from her father telling her how much he loves her. Suddenly, the station commander shows up and tells her to come to the command room immediately. Something serious is going on. She grabs her weapon and follows him to figure out what's happening. He tells her that a gang attacked one of their military bases in Russia and stole 16 nuclear missiles. Now they're threatening to launch them at America, which would cause total devastation. They head to the command center where she meets Rahul and David, who handled the security systems at the station. Out of nowhere, they receive a message from the National Security Council. The message confirms that the gang murdered all the soldiers at the Russian base and stole 16 intercontinental ballistic missiles. Then, the leader of the gang sends a video to the White House, threatening to strike 16 U.S. states and wipe them off the face of the earth. They get a call from the White House, urging them to prepare to intercept the missiles if they're launched. Since the station is located between Russia and the U.S., its sole purpose is to defend America from such threats using its deterrent missile system. The commander then leaves with Colin and tells her he's going to change the self-destruct code for the station just in case something goes wrong. That's when Colin starts to suspect there might be a traitor in the U.S. military, someone who helped the gang and leaked sensitive information about the nukes. She shares her concern with the commander. Suddenly, she spots the gang disguised as janitors. When they realize she's onto them, they open fire and kill the commander. She hides quickly, but notices the gang drop the access card to the command center. She grabs it before they can and runs, but one of them chases her and tries to stop her from locking the door. She manages to fight him off and slams the door shut before the rest of the gang can get in. One of them shoots at her again. She dodges the bullets, but David gets hit by accident. She takes down the attacker, grabs his gun, but he gets aggressive and tries to overpower her. She ends up killing him with his own weapon. Then she sees acid on the floor and throws the access card away to make sure the gang can't use it. Now inside the command center with 2 security doors between her and the gang, she contacts the gang leader, Alexander, through the door's communication system. She asks how he managed to sneak into the station in disguise despite the tight security. He tells her he's been planning this for 6 years, studying every detail to destroy America. But to launch the missiles freely, he has to destroy the station first, since it's the only thing standing in his way. He tries to talk her into opening the door, saying he won't hurt her and will even let her live. When she refuses, he orders his men to break the door down. Then he tries to mess with her psychologically, telling her he released a toxic chemical through the air vents that killed all the soldiers and workers in the station. Colin calls the White House. The Prime Minister asks for an update, and she informs him that the gang has taken over the station and killed everyone except her and 2 others, Rahul and David. She says the gang will be able to break the door and take full control in 40 minutes. She begs them to send backup ASAP. The Prime Minister tells her that a rescue team has already been dispatched, but unfortunately, they won't arrive for another 90 minutes. Then the US President joins the call and explains that the gang has 16 nuclear missiles and has split into groups to launch them at America. The only thing stopping them is the station's deterrent system, so Colin must protect the command center at all costs, or millions will die. Rahul starts to panic, thinking the gang will break through and kill them before help arrives. Colin tries to calm him down and asks for his help. But he says he doesn't know how to use weapons, he's just a software engineer responsible for monitoring the missile signals. Suddenly, Colin discovers that Alexander, the gang leader, is working with a US Army colonel. Alexander threatens to kill the colonel if she doesn't open the door. Colin refuses, saying she won't open the door no matter what. Alexander follows through with his threat and kills the colonel right in front of her to shake her and prove he's dead serious. At that moment, Rahul was extremely scared and asked Colleen what they were going to do. She tried to calm him down and encourage him, then asked him to help wake up their teammate David. Suddenly, the drainage gate leading to the sea opened, and one of the gang members appeared, trying to kill them. Colleen rushed to fight him, but he was stronger and struck her. She called out to Rahul for help and saw him holding a gun, but he didn't know what to do. Colleen threw a refrigerator at the attacker, then took the gun from Rahul and shot the criminal. Afterward, she helped Rahul carry the body and they threw it out through the same gate he had come in from. While Rahul was monitoring the station's cameras, Alexander contacted him and showed him a photo of Colleen, saying he knew her story. She responded firmly, saying that his words wouldn't affect her, and that as long as she was alive, she would defend the command center to the death. But Alexander ignored her and began telling her story. He revealed that 3 years ago, she worked in the office of a high-ranking general in the military, who tried to sexually harass her in exchange for keeping her job. When she refused and filed a complaint, no one believed her. So she recorded a conversation between them and reported it to the higher command, resulting in his dismissal. However, officers under his command kept threatening her. They sent her threatening messages and even posted money rewards online for anyone who could get private photos of her. They harassed her for a long time, even breaking into her apartment and writing threats on the walls. This led to a mental breakdown and even a suicide attempt, which her father fortunately stopped just in time. Colleen told Alexander that none of this would shake her, that she had survived much worse. He tried again to persuade her, offering $30 million if she opened the door. He promised to let her walk away freely and unharmed, but she refused once more, holding firm to her duty and loyalty to her country. Meanwhile, Alexander managed to break the lock on the door and realized he would have access to the command center in 20 minutes. Around that time, David, who had been shot by mistake, regained consciousness. Suddenly, he pulled a gun and shot at Rahul and Colleen, but they were both wearing bulletproof vests and were unharmed. He opened the door for the gang, revealing that he was the traitor who had been feeding them information about the station all along. Once Alexander entered the command center, he contacted his men in Russia and ordered them to prepare to launch the nuclear missiles at the US, stating that he would give the order to fire later. He tied Colleen to a chair, and David tried to harass her, but she struck him on the head and knocked him down. Before he could retaliate, Alexander stopped him. Then Alexander began broadcasting live on national television, addressing the US military. He declared that he would destroy America completely due to its corrupt system and its support for the Zionist regime. He made it clear he wasn't doing this for money but out of ideology, revealing that his father was a former ambassador and billionaire. He then gave the order to launch a nuclear missile toward Los Angeles. Panic spread across the state the moment the news broke. Alexander turned the camera toward Rahul and asked him to share a negative experience he had with the American military. But Rahul refused, saying he loved his country. Before he could say more, Alexander hit him and knocked him out. Then he pointed the camera at Colleen, saying she had fought bravely and rejected a $30 million bribe to protect her country, even though her own country failed to protect her from harassment by senior officers. At that point, the nuclear missile was already in flight, just 18 minutes away from destroying Los Angeles. Colleen began thinking of a way to free herself and save the day. After a moment of reflection, she broke her pinky finger to slip out of her restraints. She then attacked Alexander and fought off the rest of the gang, managing to force them out of the control room. However, one gang member remained behind and fired at Colleen. Suddenly, the alarm sounded. Colleen realized there were only 6 minutes left until the missile struck. She fought the woman, knocked her down, and quickly hit the deterrent missile launch button, successfully intercepting the nuclear missile just in time. But the woman got back up, grabbed her gun, and shot Colleen in the arm. Colleen grabbed a gun off the floor and killed her. Colleen begins to remove the bullet from her arm when she receives a call from the White House. The President of the United States personally thanks her for saving Los Angeles. Then, Colleen is given more information about Alexander, the gang leader. She learns that he was once a U.S. Army captain in charge of the Psychological Operations Division. She's assured that reinforcements will reach her in 50 minutes. After ending the call, Rahul regains consciousness and asks what happened. Colleen tells him she stopped the missile before it could destroy LA. She unties his hands and sits down to rest. A few moments later, she recalls her father's words. "You have to fight. Stand your ground against anyone who tries to destroy you." Just then, Rahul interrupts her thoughts and says Alexander wants to talk. When she goes to speak with him, she's shocked as he starts revealing personal details about her father, who, he says, was a military commander. Alexander then plays a video from his phone showing the gang has kidnapped her father. He threatens to kill him if she doesn't open the door. In tears, Colleen begs him, saying she can't open the door because doing so would cost countless lives. She pleads to hear her father's voice for just 1 minute. He agrees, and her father tells her not to give in and never to open the door, no matter what. Alexander then gives the order to have her father killed and ends the call. The broadcast had been live the entire time. All of America watched as Colleen made the heartbreaking decision to sacrifice her father to save her country. Alexander heads off to retrieve the self-destruct device from the station commander he had killed earlier. Using the commander's fingerprint, he activates the system to flood the entire station, which is located deep in the Pacific Ocean. This move would allow him to launch the remaining nuclear missiles and completely destroy America. Colleen sounds the alarm. The security system shows only 13 minutes remain before the base floods. Rahul volunteers to dive underwater to the turbine room and manually seal the water intakes to buy them more time. Colleen contacts the White House again and explains the critical situation. She asks how soon reinforcements will arrive. The Prime Minister informs her they'll arrive in 25 minutes, but the station only has 13 minutes left. They need a fast solution. Meanwhile, Rahul dives into the water and swims to the turbine room. He manages to activate the control panel and closes most of the water valves, increasing their time to 17 minutes. Just before he can escape, David appears and kills him. Back in the command center, Colleen notices on the radar that a Russian submarine is rapidly approaching, only 30 kilometers away. She contacts the White House again to explain her bold plan. She'll allow the gang into the command room to launch all their nuclear missiles. Then, she'll return and use the station's defense systems to shoot them all down before they can reach U.S. soil. Though the plan is risky, the officials agree to let her proceed. Moments later, David enters through the drainage tunnel and finds Colleen missing. Seeing the open skylight, he realizes she escaped. He opens the main door to let the gang in. Alexander takes over the command center and contacts his men in Russia, ordering them to launch all remaining nuclear missiles. David heads to the rooftop to kill Colleen, but she's not there. Alexander spots her on the security feed. She's inside the command room disguised as a soldier. She kills one of the gang members and fires at Alexander, but he narrowly escapes. He disarms her, and Colleen rushes to activate the defense missile system. But to her shock, Alexander has disabled the launch mechanism. She quickly climbs to the roof, connects her laptop to the command system, and gains remote access to the defense missile launch controls. Suddenly, David reappears and attacks her. They fight fiercely. She manages to knock the gun from his hand and wraps a barbed wire around his neck. They struggle and fall from the rooftop. David is decapitated, and Colleen crashes into the water. While underwater, she recalls her father's voice telling her to keep fighting until the very last second. She surges back to the surface, climbs up again, and with only 4 seconds left, slams her hand on the launch button. The defense missiles fire, successfully intercepting and destroying all the nuclear warheads. The gang's plan is foiled, and Colleen saves America. Alexander returns to confront her one last time. They fight, but just as he gains the upper hand, his own allies, the Russian submarine crew, arrive and kill him instead, so he can't reveal any information about them. Soon after, the reinforcements arrive and rescue Colleen. She's taken to the hospital, where the president herself visits her. Praising her bravery, she announces to the nation that Colleen has saved America from its greatest threat in years. Colleen then joins the National Guard stationed at the White House. In the final scene, Colleen is surprised when her father walks in, alive. He tells her he managed to kill the gang members who were holding him hostage. Overwhelmed with emotion, she embraces him. And that's how the movie ends. If you enjoyed the movie, don't forget to hit the like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to the channel.